Hey guys, it's Chris here, and today I'm going to be showing you a really simple technique for like a sort of 2D motion graphic. It's literally just to teach you to be creative with your use of solids. So the first thing you're going to need to do, I'm assuming you have a sort of basic knowledge of After Effects. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a green solid. All comp size, all of that kind of stuff. So the next thing we need to do is create a new black solid. This solid is going to be basically what we use to create that outline. So if we hit S on the keyboard, bring up the scale command. Let's just scale it down a tad. If you you scroll with your zoom you zoom with your scroll key, and if you hold spacebar on your keyboard, you can move around. Sorry if my mouse is a bit distracting though, I really like this trail thing, so it's staying there. Alright, so now that we've got this, we're just going to pull our sides out a tad. And that way we've got I might put the scale down a tad more. We want these nice thick lines here. And you just want to eye it out, make sure that these are fairly equal. It really doesn't, they're all getting so distorted it doesn't matter too much, but once you've done that, you want to highlight everything with either dragging and across them or Control A on the keyboard. Then to pre-compose your layer, you can either hit right click and then hit pre-compose in this little drop down menu, or you can select everything, go layer and then pre-compose. Control Shift C as well as the keyboard command. I never do that for some reason. So now you're going to call this left side. Now it's really important for this to keep your layers organized, because there are quite a few layers, especially once you start getting a bit more advanced. So the next thing you're going to want to do is to check the 3D box, which is just this one here. So now if I select my layer, hit W on my keyboard for rotation, it's also this one up here. If I select the Y-axis, click, hold Shift and move my mouse to the right, it'll rotate it to exactly 90 degrees. So now once we've got that, we can hit V on our keyboard, select the Z axis and just move it over. Just use your eye, just eye it out, get it right there. So now you can see it's lined up right there, and that's literally one side done. So the rest of this is really rinse and repeat. So if you select your layer and go Control D or Command D if you're on a Mac, and then hit return on your keyboard, you can call this right side, and then literally make sure you select the axis so it says Z there. Literally the same thing. Don't hold Shift while you do that. So now that we've got that right there, we can start creating the roof. One thing that you want to make sure is that these line up pretty well. So another thing you can do is you can turn on your action safe, and that looks pretty good. I don't know, maybe the way I'm sitting that makes these look a bit wrong. If you hit Control R on your keyboard, you can bring out the rulers, which do help quite a bit when just lining everything up. Now this it really doesn't have to be perfect, but you want to make sure. So that all looks pretty good. To get rid of these, all you gotta do is just drag them back off. Okay, so now what do we want to do? We want to make our roof. So if we hit Control D on our keyboard again, we can make our top roof. So what we'll do is we'll hit return or enter on our keyboard once again, and we'll select and we'll write top. And then if we bring this back into the center, now this is something you are going to want to make sure is lined up, because if that's not in the center, your lines up here won't line up. So now all we have to do is hit W on our keyboard, select the X axis, which is right in the middle, hold Shift and rotate 90 degrees, V on our keyboard, and just move it up once again. Where you put it is entirely up to you. You can put it down here. I found that like just on this line right here seems to look pretty realistic, and then you can obviously do the same for the bottom. So just duplicate the top layer, Command D or Control D, return or enter, and you just say bottom. And it really is that easy to create your own 3D box, for any of you who didn't already know. So if you just, once again, eye this out, that seems pretty good. So now if I turn off my action safe, we can see we've got a nice looking box. Something that I wanted to do is I wanted to make it look like we were sort of flying down the corridor, so I just selected everything, all of my layers, and just dragged this out a bit. So now what you want to do is you want to be able to move around in 3D space. And the easiest way to do that is to create a camera. So if we just right click here and go new camera. The focal length is entirely up to you. I like going for a 20 or a 50 or a 35. Literally, it does not matter for this in this instance. So I guess we'll go with a 35 in this case. Now to toggle your camera settings, it's C on the keyboard. So you just keep hitting a C for every different setting. And now you can see as I drag along, we have our 3D box. And then if I move back, you can see the box. So that's your 3D, your basic 3D in After Effects. There's been new stuff added for that, but this is the most basic form. So now you just want to eye out the center of the box. And now, it really doesn't matter what you put down here. I'm just going to put an M for Moslobs, my YouTube channel, so just an M. That's the impact font size. I like to keep everything underneath my camera. That's just an OCD thing. If we just bring it out a bit, and now we've got an M. Now you realize when I hit C on my keyboard, the M does not move in 3D space. It just stays there. So what you're going to have to do is, once again, you have to check that 3D box. But see now, the M, even though it's in 3D space, is not relative to this box. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to go into a top view. Oh, well first, just to make, because the M right now is in the default position in the middle of the box. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to hit P on our keyboard with it selected, and we're just going to want to move it on its axis just down a bit. And that way we can see, when we go into our top view, we can see that now it's further this way, which means this is the back of the box and this is the front of the box. You can also see our camera right there. So now we just select our M, move it to the back of the box, all simple stuff. And now if I go back into my active camera, we can see, if I hit S on my keyboard with M selected, I can scale it up to fit. And now we have a very nice looking M at the back of our corridor, which will now be in the same perspective of this box. So now, all you want to, the only way left to go is to just have a simple animation on our camera. So if you just hit P, select a keyframe, I might just move forward a bit, and then scroll through just a little bit. And I guess move down into towards your M, and then just reframe it back up, and your camera will automatically move to here. And there we go. We have a basic animation. We have our camera moving down a hallway. That's incredibly fast. It doesn't have to be that fast. We can literally just drag our keyframes out a bit. And there we go. It's just a really simple graphics tutorial. Another thing you can do if you want to make everything look a little bit more Tron feeling, or I don't actually know, it looks a bit more beveled. You just select everything and hit Command D on the keyboard, and then S with everything selected, so don't hit anything. And if you just scale it down a bit, and then hit S again, and then just rinse and repeat. That way you can have a sort of beveled edge feel. And just so you know, this is a bit more computer intensive, so it'll take a bit longer to render, but I feel that also adds a lot more perspective with these sort of the beveled feeling. I don't know, I do sort of enjoy that look a bit more. But see how it's really simple. If you know how to manipulate your solids for motion graphics, it is one of the most valuable things you'll learn. So thank you for watching this tutorial. Make sure to leave in the comments section below more tutorials that you'll want to hear from me. Any suggestions, any challenges, I'm open to anything. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.